Let us now talk markets in Zambia with Beatrice Nkanza, CEO of the LuSE Stock Exchange. Many thanks for coming on. Good morning. You just came out of a conversation and a briefing from Zambia. Analysts were forecasting a growth in profitability, especially in revenue. How did they do?
They did very well, actually. In all areas of their production lines, they did make a profit. Their challenge now is to keep up with demand, and in that respect, they told the meeting that they've been able to raise capital locally from Zanaco, which is also a listed company, and Standard Chartered, which is also a listed company, as well as IFC, to try and expand their capacity so that they're able to meet the growing demand locally. On the external front, as you know, they are also exposed to Nigeria and Ghana through their relationship with ShopRite.
Right.
And they were able to the investors that the risk, i.e. the political risk that is slowly increasing in Nigeria, will not affect them in the immediate term.
Are they still confident about the future and the prospects for that?
Absolutely. They are very confident overall. In Zambia, locally, like I mentioned, they've been able to increase capacity, i.e. the acreage for their cropping division, as well as the processing plants for the processing of soya beans and cotton seed and so on, as well as the beef division. So overall, they are very upbeat about the future and have been able to exemplify that by the increase in borrowing, both from the IFC as well as local borrowing.
We're expecting earnings numbers, full-year earnings numbers from Kesa Electricals. The fourth quarter results were a bit grim. What is the market thinking ahead of the release of those?
Come again?
We're expecting numbers out of Kesa Electricals, especially after fourth quarter numbers were a bit disappointing. What is the market thinking about this?
Well, you will understand that the market in Zambia, as is the case everywhere, it's cyclical. And normally first quarter numbers do not impress. We have our own comments on the performance of the market overall, for example, that we've seen a slowdown in activities. So therefore, it's not uncommon that out of a fourth quarter high, you are hit by this cool breeze in the first quarter. So we are confident that going into the second quarter, the results should be a little bit more, interesting.
The LuSE Stock Exchange All-Share Index dropping almost 1 percentage point yesterday, but overall it's still a better day for activity. What is driving it right now?
We've had several activities on the market. For example, we had the bonus issue by Standard Chartered Bank, bonus issue by Zanaco, arising out of the increase in the capitalization of banks, as you may know. So that gave us a little bit of impetus. But overall, the sentiment of the market is still a little bit slow, tempered by the eurozone crisis. The activities from those parts has been decreasing, and that overall has an impact on the Zambian economy. As you know, we do most of our exports to that region. So we expect that the fortunes of the eurozone issue is going to impact on our market going forward.
Are you really seriously worried about what happens in the eurozone, as you have mentioned, because that has an impact on the Zambian economy? Or is this the time when local and domestic investors are coming into the market to sort of try and shore up activity?
It's a total package. We can look at the local investment sentiments, because after all, they constitute about 94% of the activities on our market. But realistically, what happens in Europe does affect us directly. Like I mentioned, that is our largest export market. So a slight dip in demand over there does have an impact on the numbers of exporting companies. The exchange rate is another one that that impacts on the performance numbers of of the companies. So we can't really realistically isolate the two markets, the local market as well as the external market. The two are complementary.
Well, the country has tightened regulations on taxation for mining companies. How is this especially to boost compliance and revenue collection? How is this likely to impact the market as a whole, especially for any listed mining counters?
Well, right now we have, as you know, we have First Quantum, which has depository receipts listed on our market, but realistically, it's very, very small. It's a very, very small amount. But overall, the mining policies of the government, as we have heard in the press, are to stabilize the the relationship. The mines are a major contributor to GDP, as you know. And there's been talk about, windfall taxing or not to windfall tax. But overall, I think, like you mentioned, I think the tax system has to be rationalized so that the mines pay their fair share of the of taxes to government coffers.
And speaking of mining companies, we're expecting Mamba Collieries, or MCL, to list at the Lusaka Stock Exchange soon. What is the expectation ahead of that introduction?
Well, expectations are always high when there's an impending listing. We look forward to the completion of that exercise. Although I must mention that it has not yet reached the realms of the Lusaka Stock Exchange, but we are aware of a few mining companies that are interested in listing their shares.